Curry hemmed in by Harden, able to get free. 0.6 of 14 from the field.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk some NBA basketball. Not too long ago, I uploaded a video giving you guys my reasons why I have a problem with LeBron James. And if you would have asked me a year ago, I never would have done such an episode, but it was requested by you guys, and I thought I wanted to honor a fan request. And surprisingly, the video did extremely well. I got way more positive reactions than I ever could have imagined. So I was asked again if I could do another episode like this. So today's episode will also be a little bit different. I will give you my reasons why I have a problem with James Harden, the basketball player. But before we dive into today's episode, let's take a quick look at the sponsor of today's video. Today's video is brought to you by Cadera Lab. Now, I'm just about to hit my 40s, and obviously there are certain things that I can do in order to keep my face as young as possible. But the best solution is Cadera Lab. Cadera Lab is the high-performance men's self-care product. They recently released their 3-product skincare regimen. It features their award-winning serum, The Good, with the addition of a revolutionary cleanser and day moisturizer. The trio is designed to be an easy 3-step process for all skin types. And the best thing is, it's really super easy to use. Every morning, use the Clean Slate Cleanser, followed by the base layer. Every night, use the Clean Slate Cleanser, followed by the Good Serum. There's literally no risk in trying the regimen. Every purchase is backed by Cadera Lab's 100% money-back guarantee. Try it for 60 days, and if you don't love it, you will get a 100% refund, no questions asked. I can tell you from my experience, my face feels younger and fresh every single time I use Cadera Lab. So what are you waiting for? Go to caderalab.com/BTM and get a special discount of 20% off. So where do we start? Now, before I give you my reasons why I have a problem with James Harden, let me just say I never met the guy. I never talked to the guy, so we never had a conversation or anything. So obviously I can't judge him as a human being. But what I can judge is what I see on the basketball court. So starting with my reason number 1. James Harden's style of basketball is just boring. Now, obviously, I'm a fan of 90s and 80s and even early 2000s NBA basketball, so team basketball. And watching James Harden to me is just, I don't know, has nothing to do with the sport that I originally fell in love with. It is so boring. He's basically just getting the inbound pass, dribbling to the other side of the court, dribbling the ball like for 15 seconds, hugging the ball, obviously, and then he shoots a 3 with a step back. And to me, that is just not the kind of basketball that I enjoyed watching or that I enjoy watching even today. And another problem that I have with, which also belongs in the category of being boring, is like I grew up with guards that were pass first guards. And especially when James Harden is playing the point guard position, this is something that is definitely something else, definitely something that I don't like. Like when, for example, a guy like Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson was always a very offensive-minded point guard. And also, I would say, yeah, I would consider him a score-first point guard. Also a guy who could average 10 assists. But with him, you still had the feeling that when he was passing, he wanted to pass because he wanted to make his teammates better and he wanted to see his teammates score. Then obviously we have guards like John Stockton or Chris Paul, who are obviously pass-first point guards. And then we have James Harden, who obviously is also a point guard / shooting guard. But when he runs the point, I always have the feeling like he doesn't really want to pass. It's more like a sort of a last resort, like, oh, shoot, I can't score. Okay, let me take a difficult shot. Oh, I can't even take a difficult shot. Okay, I have to make the pass. And this is something that I don't like because to me, basketball is a team sport. And I love it when a guy passes the ball because he wants his teammates to be successful. So that is one big problem that I have with James Harden. Another reason or another problem that I have with James Harden, the basketball player, is that he obviously has a huge lack of defense. And to me, this is probably the worst. Like, especially if we take a look back at the 1980s and 1990s and watch carefully what kind of superstars we had back in the days, like a Michael Jordan, who was offensively the man, defensively the man, Scottie Pippen, offense, defense, David Robinson, offense, defense, Hakeem Olajuwon, offense, defense, Patrick Ewing, offense, defense. So many guys were great two-way players. And James Harden, to me, is a guy who really doesn't pay attention to defense whatsoever. If you go on YouTube and you type in James Harden, no defense, you find hundreds of videos proving that this guy really doesn't give a F on defense. Like, he really doesn't care. It's more like oh shoot, I have to play defense, but he doesn't like doing that. And that, to me, is a huge problem, especially now since the top 75 players of all time were elected, and James Harden was a top 75 player. I literally had a problem with that, and I can tell you why. And I hope you can follow me. I know I'm not the greatest in explaining something like that, but I hope you can follow me. So when you have a player that is great on offense, but who's bad on defense, to me, his worth is only 50%. Because while he's scoring on offense, he's also the reason why we're getting buckets on the other end, right? So if I would have a player then, as an alternative, a player who's also great on offense, maybe not as great as James Harden, but who's great on offense and also great on defense, that kind of a player would rank higher in my ranking. Great example would be Mitch Richmond. Mitch Richmond in the 1990s was a guy who would score between 20 and 25 points per game, and who was also a great defender. Talk to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan will confirm that Mitch Richmond was one of his toughest matchups of all time. Or even Joe Dumars, also a great example. If I would have to choose between a James Harden or a Mitch Richmond or Joe Dumars, I would go with those guys, because I know that even if they would score 4 less points than James Harden, on defense, A, they wouldn't cost me anything, and B, they would lock a person down. So those players, in my opinion, are more valuable. And I don't know if it makes sense to you guys, especially to the James Harden fans, but logically, to me, that makes sense. So that's why I have a problem with James Harden. Like, to me, if you are considered a superstar, you gotta be a two-way player. Like Kawhi Leonard, like Giannis Antetokounmpo, you gotta do it both sides of the court. So that is also a big problem that I have with James Harden. Then my number 3 reason, his lack of dedication. And I explain what I mean. When I saw how James Harden entered the NBA, the current season, I was shocked. Like, how can you be a professional NBA player and be so overweight? You are getting so much money, and your job is to be prepared as good as possible for the season. You have to do what you have to do in order to be in the best shape of your life to compete. This is what you're getting paid for. That is the reason why you're getting millions and millions of dollars. You have to prepare your body. And I'm not saying that this guy's not working on new moves, that he's not working on his skill set. I know that he does. But when I saw his physique, I was pissed. I was really, really pissed, because to all the fans that spend their hard-earned money to see you play, especially the hometown fans, or even guys that come from a different city, drive hours and hours in the car to see you play, and then you're showing your fat ass, sorry for my French, play, and obviously your stats are getting worse because your body is not on the level that it was supposed to be. And James Harden is not 36 years old. He's still at an age where he can still perform on a high level, and you shouldn't be deteriorating already. That, to me, is something that I have a huge problem with. And if you take a look and compare him to even crazy guys like Dennis Rodman, yeah, you can say whatever you want about Dennis Rodman, but this guy always came prepared for the season. He always worked on his body. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, David Robinson, all of those guys worked on their body. Even guys who obviously never were skinny, like a Charles Barkley. Yeah, Charles Barkley has a type of a body that if he doesn't train, he automatically gets fat. But during his NBA days, he was never fat. He was not in the best athlete physique, but he was never fat. And that to me is a problem that James Harden didn't take care of his body. So that is something that really bothers me. And then I have my number 4 reason, and I would have 2 more, but I wanted to keep this video not too long. My number 4 reason is that wherever James Harden goes team-wise, there's friction. And I don't want to I don't want to dive too deep into that topic, but to me, and this is just the kind of person that I am, I just think that when you get older, you should get wiser, you should get smarter, and you should second guess your actions. Like, for example, if you are on many different teams and wherever you go, you have problems with your teammates or your coaches or whatever, at a certain point, and this is what I demand from a grown man, you should start to reflect and think, okay, if I always have problems wherever I go, maybe I am the reason. Maybe I have to change something. And this is something that I personally feel I don't see with James Harden. And this is obviously a problem that James Harden is not the only player that has that problem. There are more players, and I don't want to name too many, but Rajon Rondo, same problem. And at a certain point, I would expect them to reflect and think, okay, maybe because I have the ambition to also become a better person with age, maybe I can change something for the better to make life better for all those people around me. And this is something that I personally feel is not happening with James Harden. And this is something that I also feel, yeah, it's a shame. It's honestly a shame because this guy is offensively gifted like no other player. I mean, this guy is an offensive monster. Yeah. But to be a superstar in my book, I expect more from you than just being a great offensive player. I want you to be a great two-way player. I want you to be a good teammate. I want you to make your teammates better. I want you to show me the dedication that you take your job serious and that you also show appreciation for the money that you earn and give me your all. Just like Giannis Antetokounmpo, for example. This is what I like. Those are the guys that I cheer for. And I don't like today's NBA. I really don't. But even guys, just guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo, I check on NBA.com every night to see how he plays because I cheer for him, because he shows me that he's a good kid and he really works on his game. He does it the right way. And this is what I expect from guys like James Harden as well. All right, you guys, that was my take on James Harden. And I know this is probably hard for all the James Harden fans, but I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. I'm not mean-spirited, and I don't want to disrespect anyone, but that's just my 100% honest opinion. So please post your opinion underneath the comments. I'm really curious about what you guys have to say. If you enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more videos like this, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and also post it in the comment section. And I hope I see you next time on the Basketball Time Machine.